こんな世界だからこそ全部夢を追わなきゃ。僕も仲間も。
Hey everyone, Ink here, Boss Rush 5, doing voiceover because obviously these take forever. They're pretty long quests and I don't really want to upload and do 30-minute commentary. My commentary for this was pretty boring, so I'm going to talk about a bunch of stuff in this video because we got time. So just talking about Boss Rush in general, core, going over the ranting hour from yesterday, talking about Leon a little bit, Setzer, and then probably some other stuff. But hey, first off, how busted is core that he basically covers the first orb and covers the second orb? Also, I think a lot of people may not have realized actually that core covers the second orb because whoever he's linked to has an 80% brave damage reduction or something like that. I haven't checked the graphic actually recently, but he does cover the orb as long as you link with the target for the second wave, which is cool. I bursted super early with Terra here, and the reason why this it took me a bunch of times to actually get this right was because if you use her LD on the second wave, like I don't know if anyone else did it, but unless you burn them down and finish the wave, yeah, you're in trouble because you're not going to give them turns. So I don't like how the devs paired these two next to each other. The first orb you need to take instant turns, and the second orb you need to give them turns, and I think that's dumb, and I think we should have had that orb actually on the third boss. The Trey bosses, that would have probably been better paired to enable the instant turn taker from wave 1 to work in wave 2 really well. So I had to cut back on Terra's LDs and just actually not use them. Setzer, no rework here yet, and I don't care. He's still great. He's preventing them from gaining any brave and locking them out and occasionally delaying them a turn. His auras are fine as they are, so yeah, why not? Setzer's, why do you have to wait for his rework to use him? I've actually used Setzer in Diablo's Chaos back in the day. I ran Sabin, Celeste, and Setzer on a team. I was super happy for that Diablo's Chaos, and then I ran him in Kais Lufania, and I ran him in Core's Lufania. So I've used Setzer quite a bit. I've got spheres on him for Faris and Fujin. I forgot the A sphere I gave him. Probably Yang, probably, but I don't necessarily remember. Because Setzer's A slot doesn't make sense. He's gonna generally be capping his own brave. So what do you need attack for? Like, and the max brave is so trivial. So like Setzer's sphere slots specifically are some of the most useless in the game probably. Just because of the way that his kit works. Like, he doesn't really care about those stats because of his kit, which speaks to his kit for sure. But I'll talk more about Setzer in a little while, I guess, of what's coming. No, I'll talk about him now. So I think with all of the drama that's going on around Setzer, the Reddit threads are toxic. Stop being toxic to each other, people. There's no reason for it. Like, just chill out. If your plans are changed, learn to deal with change. It's an important growth opportunity for you as a gamer that you can accommodate, that you can deal with change. It is a very frequent thing. If you enter a tournament, I don't know, in a fighting game, and you're like, wait, I'm supposed to face this person and it changes, are you gonna throw your arms up and say, I can't plan anymore, this isn't fair? No, it's part of the game. The games change schedule, so just roll with it. It's an important thing. Stop being toxic to each other. There's no need for that. There's enough of it on the internet. Keep the community as pure as you can, people, please. Yeah, I feel like with all the attention Setzer's getting, I have a feeling that he's going to come out underwhelming for people because he's getting hyped to be supernova level. And look, there's no doubt Setzer's awesome. His auras are fantastic. He's got 20% HP damage up. He helps people cap their brave. It's percentage based, right? So you got a 50% chance per brave hit to cap it. And that's just the first 3 turns of his buff. The other 3 turns, it goes down 10% each time. I've literally watched Zell and Titus. Both those guys have a ton of hits on their skills. Zell with his rework, obviously, and they would be at full stacks on Setzer, 50% chance, and you'd get no capped Brave hits. And I feel like people are going to look at Titus, and they're going to look at Core, and they're going to be like, what the hell, I've been using Titus Core everywhere. I put Titus Setzer together, and they're not working very well together. Albeit Setzer Core is probably a fantastic. But with Titus, I mean, they work together, but Titus isn't going to cap his Brave hits all the time. He takes too many turns, so he's going to run through the buff. You can't extend it, and it counts down in burst. His 20% HP damage is tied to that limited turn buff. So I feel like while Setzer is absolutely fantastic, I feel like people are going to actually play him in the Lufania era and are going to be disappointed in the results that they get. So I hope people will chill out. Let's talk about this second team, because this came up during the ranting hour, and I was getting a lot of shit on the ranting hour for not putting a correct team around Leon to highlight his damage. So what I was saying on the ranting hour is, and if you slow down my video, you'll see this once after Celeste uses her LD up here. When you actually look at the Brave damage that their hits are doing across the board, and I'm extending Gladio's buff because that's absolutely overpowered. When you look at their traps, right? Gladio is dealing 5,300, or that was Celeste. Leon hasn't gotten his trap up, but when you look at it, Leon's trap is like half of Celeste's and probably like 70% of Gladio, and Leon just got his LD. Why the heck is his trap not dealing more Brave damage? And I get it, he's absorbing Brave, but Celeste absorbs Brave also. So he's absorbing Brave, and he's got Splash on it, which is nice. So he's doing work. Like, it's not that his damage here is bad. His damage is actually probably higher than Celeste's, because she and Gladio are both batterying him. So I mean, he's constantly capped on Brave, right? So that's cool. But God, his Brave damage, he's boosted now, and he's dealing like 3k. I've got Attack 108 arts on him, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I don't, but yeah, I would expect him to be hitting harder in comparison with these other off-turn damage attackers. So I think that's a little weird, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on it. I think he'll be really fun because he's got a super unique kit and stuff. Like the fact that Gladio is absorbing. Oh, here's something that you may not know. So Leon, when you're talking about absorbing Brave damage, this works for both Celeste and Leon because they both absorb. But Brave damage reduction actually doesn't impact it. So the way that the damage formula apparently works is that defense is calculated first, then hits go through, and I guess after the hit is going through, then it tacks on Brave damage reduction at the end. So that's why you can see Gladio is actually getting batteried by their attacks. It's not zeros because he does 100% Brave damage reduction, and Brave damage reduction doesn't trigger for whatever reason with absorb effects. So that's why, like, with you don't want to use attack down with Leon, because if you're lowering their attack, unless they've got elemental attacks, right? But if you lower their attack, they're actually going to deal less damage to you, and you're going to get batteried less. So you actually want Brave damage reduction alongside Leon if you want. This wave is hilarious. So this is why I had to speed it up, because I didn't have a lot to say. They get a bunch of turns in a row, and these off-turn damage dealers, they just clear through it. So you can see all the calls I've got up. I start to get some great calls up, like Hope's debuff and Kurasame. They're all up, and it's actually Kurasame's LD, so he's enchanting the party, which actually just helps. It helps Gladio and Celeste, assuming that the Imperil is applied. Yeah, it doesn't help Leon because all his skills are dark type, so the Ice Enchant isn't going to help it. But this team was super fun. I really enjoyed this. Whenever you get to utilize a different strategy, I did remove all their speed stats, by the way. So every speed passive on these three is off of their kit. None of them are on there. So it's going to enable them to take a ton of turns and basically let all the off-turn damage go. I think, in fact, we're only going to take 7 more turns. So, and that's it. And we're not even dealing a lot of damage on those turns either. But, so I'll jump a little bit to talk about the ranting hour. So we were on the ranting hour yesterday. Some really interesting stuff got talked about. I highly recommend it. I'll put it in the link in the chat. There was a point where we started talking about the infographics and the fact that, and apparently people didn't know this, but if you look at any infographic in the top left, and it's been this way since Cloud's EX Plus. Cloud's EX Plus. That is how old this is. But the length of the arrow for the roll, so like Cloud would say probably, I'm not looking at it now, but it probably says melee attacker or physical attacker, probably physical attacker, and probably says utility and launcher. So he's got 3 rolls. The size of the arrow indicates how strong that roll is for him. And it's really more like a primary roll is listed at the top, and then the other ones underneath are usually secondary rolls. But you do get some people that are like sort of balanced across the board, across all their roles. And it's sort of like, why would you bring that character to the fight, right? Because you're not bringing Leon to the fight for damage, right? Leon is not someone you bring for damage. You bring him for the utility of absorbing Brave. That's really what it's about. And so I was so surprised that so many people did not know that it's been that way. And it's an important piece, and it came up because there was a main chord was talking about how Core is a support, and so when you pair him with Tidus, you should put another attacker. And it's like, no, Core is an attacker primarily, support is a secondary role to him, and you should still probably put a support on the team. You really shouldn't just run Tidus, Core, and like Cloud of Darkness. I mean, if you want to, you probably can. Boosted, I feel like you might struggle if you're not boosted. Yeah, by the way, Celeste's traps, healing the party, super, super clutch here, just to keep everyone topped off is really nice. So that when we hand it to the other team, we don't have any HP issues or anything. These guys are heroes. But yeah, the arrows are like a nice stylistic choice. I had to reset this damn thing so many times because Sabin's about to come in, and then I'll talk about Sabin. But I'm just letting the off-turn damage go, and I actually summon here, but I cut it out because I threw away the recording by accident. So I was expecting to swap here, and then I actually just reformed the team because no one on this team is going to hit the Cap to Brave damage. So, yeah, enter Exdeath with Sabin and Aerith. All 3 of them can hit the orb, which is awesome. Yeah, the annoying part of this orb is the fact that it was reworded. It was poorly worded, and I applaud the devs or whoever's checking the feedback channel, because it says player deals at least 10,000 Brave damage. So if you attack one enemy and you deal 12,000 damage, I dealt over 10,000 damage as a player. Why don't all the orbs go up? Only one orb goes up. And so as a result of that, I couldn't use Aura Cannon here with Sabin pretty much at all, which is pretty annoying, because against 3 enemies, I super want to use Aura Cannon all the time for the turn rate, for the battery, for Aerith, and for Exdeath. Like, I absolutely want to be using Aura Cannon, but I can't do it because the orb is so damn tight that I need to maintain all 3 orbs. So Porum's super good here. The people that are waiting on this wave for Setzer, well, first off, know that if you don't have a lot of time, you actually can just leave your 3rd team intact. So, like, just don't run the 3rd team. You can pick up right here where I did. You can pick up right where your 2nd team left off whenever you want. So you could wait for Setzer to come, and then you can rerun this and finish it out, and that's pretty easy. So yeah, it would be pretty easy and straightforward. So yeah, Sabin has to keep using Razor Gales, which that's fine, but God, it doesn't work that well with Exdeath because I want to give these guys turns so that he gets his off-turn damage, poison triggering. But yeah, Exdeath is super fun. I can't wait for him to get his LD board. I've seen some really fun Lufania Plus strats already with him as a friend, where Tidus just goes ham and takes every turn possible, and the Exdeath poison triggers every turn, the BT effect. So it's super hilarious to watch like Tidus and Zell take as many turns as they can. Meanwhile, Exdeath friend is just standing there like Charlotta menacingly and watching the enemies be poisoned to death. Super cool. Love it. So I'm pretty excited for Exdeath. I don't know how many of his banners I'm pulling, because Vivi I have already, and I guess I'll ticket Zell. I actually don't like Zell as a character, but his kit looks super fun. Looks really interesting. And I'm sure people are going to look at him and be like, why pull him? Skip, save for Zidane, save for Lufania Plus, and sure. But, I mean, if you've got tickets, you may as well toss them. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, Exdeath will be really, really fun. Sabin totally shined here, but you could see he's actually not capping his damage, and I think it's because ZX buff fell off. I'm also not using him I don't know. I wouldn't, against these guys specifically, I wouldn't just use Aerith as support. I would want another support, or I considered like using Queen. Because I think Queen would be better with her. She boosted Brave damage a lot. Because Sabin doesn't care about Aerith's defense down. Neither does Exdeath for that matter. So I considered bringing Queen, but Aerith procs the orb. So I figured, what the hell, I may as well try it. And it turned out okay. I love the Womp taken from Black Nero. Check out Black Nero. Any of his Exdeath runs are hilarious because every time Exdeath uses skill 2, he goes Womp. And it's very satisfying. I enjoy it. Let's see. Outside of that, I do think the banner. So for Setzer, just jumping on that real quick, I do think the Setzer banner is going to come on the 30th. There's a chance it might come tonight, being 2 days after Boss Rush. It might happen, but I think it's more likely that it's one of the 2 draw banners that they mentioned in the slides. So we'll get the triple Von Kefka Arden BT, and then we'll get Setzer with Waka and a Mid-Italian. They're going to have to figure out what BT to put on that banner. It might be an experiment at how a triple LD banner does without a BT on it. So I guess we'll see, and I think that the Agrius banner is probably going to get a little bit delayed. Is probably what's going to happen. But yeah, I need to extend this video now, but yeah. But yeah, I think it's probably going to get a little bit delayed, the Agrius one, because it comes on the level 250 fight, and it doesn't make sense to drop a level 250 fight and then go back to normal Lufania. So I think they're actually going to move it into Exdeath cycle. They're going to move Agrius back a little bit into Exdeath. So my total guess is that Agrius will have Exdeath BT on it. Setzer will have, I don't know whose BT on it. They're going to have to figure that shit out. Or maybe Agrius's banner follows the exact same Setzer format, whatever that is. So we'll see. But hey, everyone, I hope you enjoyed my Boss Rush run. I hope you enjoyed the random commentary and such, covering a lot of different topics. Feel free to comment anything and, you know, how you enjoyed Boss Rush. And yeah, everyone, thanks for watching and take care. Bye-bye.